All right, here we go. Okay, so we're recording. Hey, everybody. Welcome. It is, what are we here? August 4th. I cannot even believe that. And I want to just run through a couple of things with you guys. I'm going to share my screen, and then Katie's going to jump on at 9:15, which I'm really excited about her being on our call because I think she's fantastic and has a wonderful message to share and a wonderful story to share. So let's just go through the technical stuff for the month first, so we make sure everybody's aware of what's happening. So let's just do this real quick. There we go. So welcome. And I think you guys probably know this, but just to review, so the August Challenge Pack promotions this month are size. So size and Shakeology Challenge Pack for $140. Size Kickstart and Shakeology Challenge Pack for $180. And then the 3-day refresh and Shakeology Challenge Pack is $140. And then, of course, Beachbody On Demand seems to be staying at $140. So that's another one that's in the lowest price range if you're looking for that. And then the 21-day fix is actually still on sale as well. And the 21-day fix regular is on sale till the 12th, and that little asterisk there means that at some point unannounced it will stop being that price on the 12th. So the suggestion would be to tell people the 11th if you're going to give them a deadline, because it did happen to me where somebody went to order and then got sidetracked and went back to order on the day they were taking down a sale price, and they did take it down randomly at like 3 p.m. or something. So tell people the 11th if you're still using that. The Extreme actually ends on the 10th, so I would tell people the 9th for that one. And the Kickstart, the same thing. So you can find out more about that if you want to at FAQ 2889 about the Challenge Pack promotions, including the 21-day fix still being on sale. Next is just a reminder that the Fixate cookbook is out there. Our price as coaches is $14.96 and the regular price is $19.95. And just in case you are wondering, it is 15 PV for the cookbook. So if you're trying to build volume, or if you need to know that, some of the Diamond coaches will understand that it's actually 15 PV if you need extra volume. So that Fixate cookbook. And then the Beachbody Performance, which was launched in July, is also a challenge pack. You can get the Club Performance Pack, which is 90-day membership to Club, which is on demand, and it comes with Energize and Recover. That's what the challenge pack includes. So if you are looking for, you can get 2 Success Club points for that challenge pack as well. And of course, there are Shakeology boosts that just got started. I actually just ordered some. I'm really excited to try it. So there's 3 different kinds: Focused Energy, Power Greens, and Digestive Health. And these are the different prices for us coaches. They are these prices, club members, and then regular customer purchases. So the Shakeology boosts are actually part of the Team Cup, which I'm going to review that with you really quickly too, because you can get extra cup points for boosts. And just to remind you, there's that new program that's coming out in winter, and it's called Hammer and Chisel. And it's going to be a collaboration of Autumn, who of course is the 21-day fix lady, and then Sagi, who is the Body Beast guy, and it's supposed to be really amazing. So that's coming out in the winter of 2015, and I think they said there's going to be a sneak peek coming in October in On Demand. So that will be pretty awesome. And another reminder, if you are participating in the Cup Challenge, which I hope everybody on this call is doing, these are the pretty sweet prizes that you can win this time. The Tier 1 prize is a selfie stick, which means that your team as a total needs to get 30 points. And for you yourself to receive the selfie stick, you need to get Success Club 5 or 10. Then second tier prize is 50 team points. And then you yourself need to have 5. Successful 5 with 7 points. That means you have to get to SC7, and then you get that cool size hat. And tier 3 prize is 75 team points. You have to have Success Club 10, and then you get some size apparel. And then, of course, the top 10 teams get these pretty sweet prizes as well. A Nutra Ninja, a Blend Tech Classic, and of course, the top prize gets the grand prize to trip to Los Angeles, which would be amazing. And here was the other point that I really wanted to remind everybody. So anybody that's participated in the Cup Challenge before, these are some new rules that go along with it. So in order to earn points for the Cup Challenge, you can earn Success Club. Each Success Club point equals a team Cup point. So that's the same. Each rank advancement for you or a personally sponsored coach gets 1 point. That is also the same. But this is the one that's different. So if you have boost or performance product sale, if you sell both a challenge pack and a boost or performance product to the same customer in August, you get a point. So that means that they have to bought. So essentially you can get 3 points from a person if they buy a challenge pack, and then they also get boost or performance product in the month of August. So that one's a little bit different. So we'll keep that in mind as we move forward with the Cup Challenge. And I also just wanted to remind our group, because I know there are some people in there who are on their way to becoming success starters. So Summit 2016, which we talked all about, Summit 2015 on our last call, is going to be in Nashville again, July 28th to the 31st. And you can earn your free ticket if you are a new coach. And you can do that by getting Success Club 5 or higher in the first 3 months of your business. And the first month includes either the month that you sign on or the very next month. So if anybody that signed on in July is still eligible to participate and achieve Success Starters if you receive Success Club in August, September, and October, or if you got Success Club in July, then you would get it in July, August, and September, and you can earn your free ticket. And I think somebody else is on their way that started earning. I think Kathy is on her way to Success Starters, and I don't know which month she started in, but go, Kathy, go. Okay. And then I also just wanted to do a reminder about tuning into calls. So if you weren't aware, or if you just needed a reminder, the National Wake Up Call happens every Monday morning. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so 8 a.m. Pacific Time, every single Monday. You can tune in right when it's happening, or you can catch the recording, which is what I do. You can either plug the number. It's a little hard to see here, but I posted it in Inspiration Nation. You can plug this number into your phone and just have it there and listen to the recording anytime that's convenient for you, riding in the car or folding laundry or whatever. You can also access it through the Coach Online office in the back office. And they also have a Team Beachbody podcast, which you can also get on your phone and listen anytime you want. So definitely do that. It's not only because they have the top coaches on there giving fantastic tips about how they've been successful in the business, but it also will just catch you up on all the practical stuff happening in Beachbody world, with all the launches and all the sales and all what's going on this month and all that kind of stuff. So tons of reasons why you want to tune into the Wake Up Call, even if it's not live, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Mondays. Anytime after that, the call will be available. And then, of course, our team Inspiration Nation team call is happening on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock, and we're making these weekly calls starting this week. So we will have weekly calls Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I will record them, and whenever you can get on these calls live, it's just, in my opinion, so much better. And sometimes when I say I'm going to catch a recording of something, I may not. So if you can get on them live, it's just really cool, which all of you are here. So thank you for getting on. Some of you are part of Coach Basics or Coach Apprenticeship groups, or some of you are doing small group calls with me or your upline coach. I just want to remind everybody to be attentive to those, because they're so valuable. And we do a lot of stuff online, and it's just so great when we can talk to each other in a smaller group and make sure everybody has time to get questions answered and connect with people. And then I also just wanted to remind everybody, if you didn't know, you can tap into Dream Team Calls, which is Melanie Mitro, the top coach in the company, and who's part of our upline, also does weekly calls on Monday nights. And I'm going to start posting those in Inspiration Nation. And if anybody else wants to help me remember to do that, you can tune into her calls anytime as well. And they're 9 p.m. on Monday nights, Eastern Time. And it's just another great resource to tap into. It's something that I listened to a lot when I first started out. So tons of resources out there. Make sure you tap into them all. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. And let's, because Katie's jumping on at 9:15. Is there anything, oh, there she is now. Did anybody have any questions about any of that stuff? No. Okay, cool. Hi, Katy.
Hey.
Thanks for jumping on our call. We're so excited to have you.
How is everybody? Are you guys still doing announcements?
No, we just finished. You're like right on time.
Oh, that's perfect.
I literally just stopped sharing my screen.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I recognize a few of the faces on here. I see Nadine. I see Terry. How is everybody? Did you have anything else you needed to talk about before I get started, or do you kind of just want me to jump in?
You just go right for it.
You just want me to kind of do my thing. All right. So I was really excited to be on the call tonight. So Kathleen and I have kind of known each other for, I would say it's been almost 2 years, about, right? I think it kind of like all meshes together. So, I know that Kathleen has a background with understanding some of the stuff that I have been through. So if you don't know a little bit of my story, just as a side note, I actually was a classroom teacher for 8 years. I taught 7th grade reading. I loved the classroom. I loved my job. I loved what I did. I loved how silly and funny and weird middle school students are. And I always saw myself as a teacher. I never, ever thought of leaving the classroom ever. I really enjoyed it. So I picked up Insanity. It was from Amazon or eBay because I didn't even realize that you could order it on a Beachbody site. I just went right with Amazon, and I did it after I looked at P90X and decided P90X was way too hard. I could never do a push-up. I could never do a pull-up. I was so wrong about that because Insanity was so much harder than P90X. But I did the program. I did it on my own, and at the time, I started seeing somebody post about challenge groups. I had no idea what a challenge group was. They were posting about some shake thing. I had no idea what Shakeology was. But then she started inserting these key words like Insanity and P90X. I had just finished the program, and I messaged her, and I believe I said something like, so I just finished Insanity. Am I like a coach now or something? I had no idea. I didn't understand any of it. And she sort of explained it to me as, we help other people get results. And I thought to myself, well, nobody helped me and I did it. Why does somebody else need a coach? But I was so wrong because, as many of you guys know, we are the secret sauce to so many for those results. We are what people need by giving them the hope and the motivation and the inspiration. So that's our role as coaches. And nobody understands that role, I guess, more than me because I needed it so much. In 2014, I had just extended my maternity leave. I had become an elite coach. And as an elite coach that year, you actually got a $500 car bonus for being titled elite. So every month that you would hit Success Club, you would be awarded $500 extra from the company. And so I was awarded that. And I looked at my husband and said, okay, well, let's extend the maternity leave. Done. Simple. January 31st, my benefits ran out with the school district. And on February 10th, I was officially diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So it is a type of blood cancer. It doesn't have a rhyme or reason, and it can really impact anyone. There was a lot of reasons why maybe it was me, maybe I had cancer, or why, but that didn't matter. So I realized that my only hope in paying off these medical bills, and yes, my husband had a job, but now we were down to one income with my husband and Beachbody. And at the time, I wasn't making that much money. I hadn't surpassed my teaching salary. And now our medical bills were going to be a lot higher with the insurance that we had. So I looked at it like I didn't have a choice. And in a very side conversation with a friend, I looked at her and said, well, who in the world would ever want me as a health coach when I'm sick and when I'm bald? And she looked at me and she said, Katy, everybody's going to want you as a coach. And it was just like that. It was just this moment. You know how you have those glimpses, those moments of conversations that the person you're talking to might not even remember, but for some reason it's pivotal to you. Like you just recall it. And that was that turning point. That was one of those turning points when I realized I was going to battle this, but why not? I mean, why can't I be a successful coach? So I think about that story a lot of times, and I think about my journey, and I think about how many times people put on a front on why they can't become a coach because they don't have, their transformation yet. They don't have their end product. They just started using the products themselves. But isn't that the beauty of it, sort of, is that you're taking people with you on the journey? Isn't that what we want to do as coaches? We want to invite them into our story. We want to invite them into what we do. And so I believe that's why I saw such a growth that I did, is I was very honest and I was very authentic with everything that I was going through. So when I was at Summit this year and I was talking about my story, I told people a story I'd never told before about Matt Mitro and how Matt actually was the one who told me about Stuart Scott. Stuart Scott worked for ESPN. He passed away last year of cancer. He had battled cancer 3 times. And he talks a lot about how when he would go through treatment, he would get up and he would work out before his treatment. And then he would get home from his treatment and he would go and he would do a P90X workout. And he would sweat, and he would literally sweat the chemo out. And I didn't even know that that was even a possibility, because I didn't even think in my head. I had all these ideas of what cancer was going to look like, what it was going to be like, what it was going to feel like. I had no idea that sweating was even an option. And it was. And so I realized if Stuart Scott could do it, so could I. I mean, why not? Yeah, he was a pro athlete, but why not me? Like, why can't I do it too? And I would go down to the basement before chemo and I would post on Facebook that I was sweating. And then all these people like Kathleen and, everybody from the dream team started sweating with me. And then I would come home from chemo and then I would need to chug water, and people would chug water along with me because they knew that I needed to get my water in. And then, I would sweat again and people would be pushing me. And then I realized people started saying to me things like, well, if you're doing it, I don't have a really good excuse not to. And it was so true. And I realized it. And I was motivating people without even realizing it. So here's my challenge to you. We think sometimes all of those things we do, we look at our posts sometimes and we think to ourselves, nobody's hearing me. Nobody's liking my post. Nobody's seeing what I'm doing. Nobody cares. It's not true. It's not. Somebody needs it. And I've always looked at my business like that. I am not the perfect fit for everybody. Not everyone is going to love me. They don't. In fact, 10% of people you meet, they don't even like you. So you're going to focus on that 10%, or you could focus on the 90 who need you and totally love what you do and are inspired by you and who need you. So you have that choice every day. Am I going to let that 10% bring me down, or am I going to look to that 90% as an opportunity to inspire? But the trick is you're not trying to please thousands of people. You're trying to help one. You keep that at the forefront of your mind all of the time. And when you really think, I can just inspire one, I can just help one. My mission is to help one. One multiplies itself. One keeps growing. You inspire one and she gets amazing results, or her life is transformed in some way because of you. Yeah, that's amazing. That's worth it. And what happens is they're happy and they share and they talk to other people about it. And there's this compound effect, this ripple effect of those choices that you make to just focus on helping one that make the biggest impact. So tonight, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just some things, some tangible things that I've done to see growth in my business. I'm very honest in telling people I'm not a top recruiter. I'm not top challenge pack sales. I don't know. I'm not top, earner, whatever it might be. But I feel as though I'm very successful at telling my story and allowing my authentic self to shine through. And so I believe that's what is allowing me to be successful on my own terms, to be successful how I need to be successful in a way that feels good for me. So these are some of my top tips, and I'm going to give you 5 of them tonight. So my first tip is you have to bet on yourself like a girl boss. And so basically what that means is if you had money on the table about the goals that you were going to achieve. So you know how sometimes we say to ourselves, I'm going to hit SC5 this month. And I don't even like saying SC5 is a goal. It should just be a given. Honestly, if you're trying to grow this business, it should always just be a given. But let's say, for example, that we say, okay, I am going to hit SC5. I'm going to recruit 5 coaches this month, and I am going to lose 3 pounds in my own journey. Would you put money on the table betting on yourself? Would you say, I have no doubt in my mind I'm going to be able to achieve that goal? Because the truth of the matter is, if you aren't betting on yourself, no one else is going to. You can't expect anybody else to. As a blue, and I don't know if Kathleen ever has you take these color personality tests. One thing I know about my personality is I'm very observant. And I can read people. Like when people say things in tones and the way that they act or talk to me, I know how they feel on a deeper level. And I always think about that and I analyze it. And so if somebody starts to have doubts about what I can do, it actually motivates me even more to be able to do it. But I also know that if I'm looking at my goals and I'm looking at them and I have a deadline in my mind, but I wouldn't put money on the table, and I'm not talking like $1, guys. I'm talking like you would put your life savings on the table that you will be able to achieve that goal. That's how you have to set your goals. That's how you have to go after your goals, because when you look at him in that way, it becomes the non-negotiable. My friend Val, she uses the same type of thought process, but she describes it as this. She says, if my kids' dinner on the table depended on it, would I be able to achieve it? She hits Success Club every month as if her kids wouldn't eat if she wasn't able to. Sounds crazy harsh, right? But when you have that mentality of, I can't lose this, I can't go down like that, all of a sudden your mind starts to work in ways to make it happen, to actually be able to accomplish it. All right. So along with number 2, focus on tangible goals, right? So give yourself a number. What is the number of individuals that you can help every month, right? So if you think of Success Club 5 just as helping 3 people, so Success Club 6, if everyone bought a challenge pack, you would be helping 3 people, right? What's your goal for the month? Have a number, and not just the throw it out there number, a number that is actually thought of in terms of how many people do I want to help this month? How many people, how many lives can I potentially change? If I had to be that coach who was standing there watching my personally sponsored new challenger stand on stage winning, I think it's $25,000. Is it $25,000 earner? Or 50,000, I can't remember. I haven't had the winner yet, but I want to be that proud person that's standing on stage with them. So I need to set a certain number every month and thinking in terms of I can help them. This is how many people I can help every month. Then you need to say to yourself, okay, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? If my number is 10, I want to help 10 people, that's SC20. If I want to help 10 people this month, how many people do I need to talk to? Well, if 1 out of 10 are going to answer you, you need to talk to 100 people. Okay, deep breath. How do I find 100 people, right? You use social media. You get out in public. You start talking to people. Keyshawn and the Beachbody Champion site, if you aren't in there, get in there because they always have great training tools, great information that you can go in and just pull from it on ways that you can start connecting with more people. Referrals. If somebody says no to you, you say, okay, cool. Do you know anyone that might be interested? Take it a step further. And then they say, I'll ask around. You say, awesome, I'm going to check back in with you on Tuesday. And you give them a specific time and date that you're going to check back in with them because you want to know, do they have any friends? If somebody's going to say no to you, at least get a referral from them because they're just one person away from that person. You can change their life. I think that makes sense. All right. So how many conversations do you need to start? If you're going to hit SC20, you need to start 100 conversations. You can do it. You can do it. And you need to talk to yourself like, why not? I can do it. It's 100 people. That's easy. Go back to things like your contact list. The people you talked to last month who said no, go back to the memory jogger that's available in the Coach Online office under your news and training. And I believe it's under the Emerald Coach reference materials. Go into the memory jogger. It's crazy when you start going over that memory jogger, how easy it is for you to start thinking of other people. And even if you don't remember their names right away, you might be able to search for them from a friend. All of a sudden, your friend opens up more mutual friends, and then you just start friend requesting. And friend requesting in a way where you're actually starting conversations with people. You know, where you're saying, I know this sounds crazy, but I actually noticed we had a couple mutual friends, and I love networking through social media. I just wanted to say hello. Nothing wrong with that. Just a hello, starting to form and starting to connect with people. Okay, number 2. This one's so important. This is kind of a big one. You need to allow yourself to be reminded of your vision. So, right, you have this number in mind. You have this goal in mind. You have now placed that bet on yourself. Your cards are on the table. You are all in. But what happens when we get those no's? What happens when, you know, it doesn't work out the way we planned, or we placed a coach on the wrong side, or somebody went inactive, and all of these things just sort of snowball, and it feels like something's against you. It's nothing against you. It's just a way for you to strengthen and sharpen your skills. It's just a bump in the road. It's a small hiccup, just a little one. And it needs to be a way, an opportunity for you, instead of getting frustrated and mad that you're not where you want to be, look at it as the opportunity to remind yourself of the goals you've set, but more importantly, why, right? So I was having this, and I'm just going to tell you, I do this. I sometimes go off on stories, but I was having that kind of day today. And so I have this big, crazy, scary goal that I have in front of me, and I'm like a hop, skip, and a jump away from it. It is like right there. But I am one of those people who I want to make sure it's done in the right way. It's the right way and the right time. Will I hustle for it? Absolutely. But sometimes when we get this goal in our head, we're so focused on getting it done that we lose track of why we're doing it. So when you find yourself getting to that, and if you're like Kathleen, I feel like I can talk to you guys about it like this. There's other coaches that can't. You have to take a step back and you have to say, why am I doing this? What's my motive? What's my reason? What's my purpose? To me, it's my family. This afternoon, after I kind of came to this realization, my family is everything. And if for some reason I am gone tomorrow, I want to make sure that I am setting them up for a successful life in any way possible. So my goals, my financial goals, the ones that I struggle with, because that's not my motive, that's not what drives me ever, is still to allow them to have the financial freedom so that they don't have to worry about college. They don't have to worry about, saving. They don't have to worry about those kind of things. That to me is freedom. And that's why I'm doing this, is because I want my family to have that security, even if I'm not here. So I think about that and I go back to this. Okay, why am I pushing for that goal? Why am I trying to achieve it by the deadline? Why? Why does it matter to me? And then I can get back to focusing on how to do it. But when I lose sight of the why, all of a sudden my motives are gone and it feels icky and it feels weird and it feels frustrating. So when that happens to you, you need to take a step back and you need to just look at your horizon. You need to look at the bigger picture of why you're doing it. Okay? Do you guys have questions about that one? Okay, number 3. Oh, this is my favorite one. Your story. You have to have a story. You have a story. Everybody has a story. People will never relate to products. People relate to people. People do not relate to products. People relate to people. You are worth it. You matter. Somebody needs your story. And I don't know what your story is, but I would love to, but you have to be willing to tell it. And if you have not seen the presentation from Summit, I go into details about how to tell your story. Bo Eason does a great job too. There's a couple of tools that are available to us as coaches. His YouTube channel, he has great information on how to do it as well. But at the end of the day, it's about being real. It's about being authentic. And it's about providing hope. Every post I put out there, I say, can this help or inspire someone in some way? Is this post a call to action in some way? Am I being true to me? Do I sound like me? Or am I just trying to copy? And this goes into number 4 a little bit. My tip to you is to share your story in some way, in some breadcrumb, in some small snippet. And I never tell everything all at once. It would be like information overload. But I do always suggest to tell at least one piece of your story every day. Every day. And I don't know what your social media network is, but I have 2 that I really focus on. One is my One Fit Fighter. And one is just my Facebook personal page. And on a whole different topic, I've really learned to separate the 2 to maximize potential for people to see my posts. Every day on One Fit Fighter, between 6:30 and 7:30, you are going to see a workout post. And every day between 6:30 and 7:30, it's going to be motivating, or it's going to be a video that's going to make you laugh in some way. But it's always going to be with some type of hashtag that is for somebody else. People know that I sweat for other people. And so that is why from that time in the morning, I have a lot of views. I have a lot of people come to my page because they know that. They know that part of me. They know why I'm doing it, and they're interested in seeing who I'm doing it for. It's building an audience, but it's very authentic to who I am. And so on my personal page, that's where you're going to see the pictures of baby D. That's where you're going to see a lot of my personality come out. So that's where you're going to see like Katy Ursta as a person. One Fit Fighter is going to show you Katy Ursta as a bigger mission. Okay. But your story, it's authentic. It provides hope. It's told once a day. And it's never so much where there's like these long paragraphs, because people don't like to read. They want snippets. They want bullet points. So sometimes you just have to play around with how you're wording it and shorten it. Little check marks or little, what are those, emojicons? I think I'm saying it wrong. Those are great. People love those, but shorten it a little bit. And leave people hanging, leave people wanting more, okay? All right, number 4 goes into something I did as a beginning coach, and I made a huge mistake of doing it, and it's just being genuine. And that kind of tied into my number 3 a little bit, but hold on one second. Sorry about that. Okay, so you're not copying, right? So have you ever seen somebody do a post and then 10 minutes later you see 10 more people do the same post and you're like, that was so good, I want to do it too. Don't do it. If you've seen a post 5 times, you're not being genuine anymore. You're just copying someone else. And you don't need to copy anyone else. You need to be you. You need to be authentic to who you are. You need to be real to who you are. Don't copy it. Be you. Be real and be authentic. I remember one time as a beginning coach, I literally copied and pasted word for word somebody's post and somebody's image. And it was not even a coach on our team. And wouldn't you know, she got a little bit upset about it. And I didn't understand. I was like, I thought we all shared information. I thought this was good. And then I realized as I kind of grew my business why she was upset, because it's like you're stealing someone else's identity. You know, you want to be authentic to you. People aren't going to connect with somebody else. They're trying to connect with you. If they're watching you, they want your opinions. They want you to be real. You know, so I'll give you another example. The Boost supplements just came out, right? Power Greens, Focus Energy, and Digestive Health. So I was on a team call last night, and I think sometimes people expect coaches to say how much they love everything. They love it, right? They love their Power Greens. They love their digestive health. Guys, I hated the Focus. I can't take it. I cannot take it at all. It makes my heart race really fast. I can't concentrate, and my mind starts like going everywhere. And so I can't try to give I can give my opinion, but I can't tell someone to go out and purchase something that I don't love. And I stand by the products that I do love. And I'm okay with trying them, and I'm okay with giving feedback about it. And I'll say who maybe this is for, but I'm going to say it's not for me. It's not for me. It just did not work for me. And that's okay. That is okay. Maybe you don't love vanilla Shakeology, but you love chocolate. Talk about it. That's okay. What is it about vanilla Shakeology that maybe other people might like that you don't like? But people are going to see that. They're going to see you talking like that, and they're going to be like, she's not just trying to sell me something. Like, she's being real. She's being like honest, and I appreciate that. So just be genuine. Just be real. Speak with your heart. Just speak with your heart. And number 5. Okay, so this one is a big one, and it connects all of them together. You got to get rid of the fear. You've got to get rid of the fear. It is the only thing that is separating you from what you want, is this chasm of fear. Everything you want is on the other side. But I want you to think of everything that's holding you back. Is it what people think? Is it the fear that you'll fail? Is it the fear that you don't have enough time? Is it the fear that you're going to get so far and then you're going to stumble and fall and take 30 steps back in your business? Sometimes I have this crazy fear of everything that I've worked for 3 years will just be stripped away from me. And it paralyzes me. And I just kind of go, oh my God, what if? And so what do I do when that happens? I dive in to personal development. I do. I go back to books like The Slight Edge or The Compound Effect. I listen to the Lewis Howes School of Greatness podcast. It's amazing. I listen to Shailene Johnson. If there's a certain topic that calls my name, I go back to John Maxwell. I go back to Dave Ramsey. I go back to those books that I needed when I started. And even though I've read them, every time I go back to them, I read them in a different way because I'm at a different point in my business. But fear can paralyze you. And the difference is even if it stops you for a minute and paralyzes you for a minute, you go back to those things that I said before. Why am I doing this? What are my goals? Would I bet on myself? Is it important to me? Does my story matter? Can it relate to somebody? Because everything I think back to is if I'm not doing this, somebody else is missing out on an opportunity to change their life. And there's a confidence in knowing that I matter to the company, that I matter to other people, that if I didn't show up between 6:30 and 7:30 tomorrow morning, someone would message me and say, are you okay? So you have to say to yourself, I matter, and I need to get over my fear, and I need to move forward. And in order to do that, I need to step back into my personal development, and I need to go back to the slight edge, and I need to go back to the compound effect. Take a breath, walk away for a minute, and then go back to it. But you have to have some skin in the game. You have to be willing to bet on yourself. So I'm just going to kind of leave you guys with this. So Robin Roberts is, she's GMA. She does GMA. She actually is a cancer survivor. And she has this great quote, and it's something like, be patient and persistent. Life is not so much about what you accomplish, but what you overcome. And that fear is one of the best things that you can ever do. You overcome that fear, you will be unstoppable. That's all I got for you guys tonight.
Oh, you're so awesome. Yeah, yay, everybody's clapping for you. Seriously, I took so many notes. That was amazing. I feel like I've watched Katy's story develop over the time, and my children are coming up. Wait, there we go. Anyway, and I feel like it's been so amazing to watch you evolve into who you are now, and it's really like the way you share your story. It's so inspiring, and it can be. And I've heard you talk about your story a number of times, but it can be any story. It's just a matter of figuring out the way that you're going to share it and speak to other people and all that. But the thing that really stuck out for me that you just said was actually your number 2 one, that allow yourself to be reminded. That one really stands out to me, because I feel like for me, when you get in those moments, it's hard to think of that as an opportunity. And I love that idea of, using it that way. That just made so much sense to me tonight. That was the one that was really.
And I think it's true. I think sometimes we get so laser focused, especially on rank, right? Like, so when we're pushing for Emerald, or we're pushing for Diamond, or we're pushing for Ruby, or we're pushing for Star, we get so concerned about the number of people it takes that we sometimes lose focus of the people behind that number, like what it actually means, like what's actually behind the importance of that. Like, why am I driving for Diamond? Why am I trying to be an Emerald coach? Why does it matter? And so when you're so busy driving towards a goal, and you're driving towards daylight, and that's sort of what I call it, is you have to be reminded sometimes along that path, like what's my reason? What's my why? What's my purpose? And step back for a second and look at the horizon and say, okay, I need to keep going. This is why I'm doing it. But when you don't do that, all of a sudden your intent looks poor. It doesn't come off the wrong way or the right way.
Yeah. And just seeing those moments as the opportunity to remind yourself. I love that. I need to make that into some kind of cover photo.
Cool. Tag me in it when you do.
Yes. Does anybody have questions for Katy? Sure. Yeah, everybody's muted, but go ahead and unmute yourself if you wanted to ask something. I can't see everybody.
Hi. Hi, Katy.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
I think what you said is so true about don't copy other people's posts. I know as a new coach, that's what I did, because I was so non-existent on social media. I had no idea what I was doing as a coach. And I didn't actually copy like word for word, but like I guess took people's ideas until I fell into myself. And I kind of tell my new coaches to do that as well, that aren't familiar on what to do. So like, what are your thoughts on that? Because now absolutely. I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't tell them that.
No, I absolutely agree. I 100% agree. That's what you should do. Okay. But you should also do it in a way that says, you be authentic to who you are. So for example, if I see somebody that has a great post, I actually have, and I haven't used it in a while, but I have a Facebook group that is just called Post Ideas. And my husband and I are in this group. We're the only two members in there. He's never been in there before. But I just take URLs of people's Facebook links of like their pictures of what they've posted, and I put it all in this like pile, this Facebook group of images and URLs of things that people have posted, and then I go back to it. So when I need inspiration or I need something, I can twist it and make it into my voice. But I never copy anything.
That's a great idea. That's such a great idea.
I know. I need to go back to do it. I actually have not done it in a very long time. But it has to be authentic. And that's a hard thing for new coaches because they get so focused on SE5. They get so focused on Success Starter or Emerald or whatever. And there is that opportunity for a warm market, so that warm market usually has about a 3-month stay. Like you can usually get 3 months from a coach, right? In their warm market. But then eventually they need to get out of their warm market. And the only way you can really get out of your own market, your warm market, is to start inviting and talking to new people. And the only way new people who don't know you think you're interesting is when you're putting yourself out there and sharing your real story. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, and I think it's fine as long as they know, like, that you don't do it word for word. You still got to be authentic to who you are.
Yeah, and I think you kind of pull the posts that relate to you a little bit. You don't just copy everyone. Like, I don't follow, like, all the top coaches because they don't relate to me, but there are coaches that I do tend to follow that, But, all right, thanks.
Any other questions for Katy? Well, thank you, Katy. I really, really appreciate it. This is awesome. And like I said, I took a million notes, but Katy's had huge success. And I think you guys know she got to speak at Summit, and she's had lots of other speaking engagements. And I'm sure it's only the beginning because, as you can tell, she's just a master of telling her story and sharing her successes. But we really want to thank you for getting on.
Like I view myself as a work in progress. I think it's always important to just keep learning and keep growing. So, like I want to improve, and there's things like about my business, of course, that I want to improve on and change on, but just know, like, there isn't a finished product, like I know that Shannon just said this about top coaches and not following them. And I don't, honestly, I don't even follow my own coach. I love her, but I don't. And I know I didn't mean to get off on a tangent, but, I think the best thing that you can do is just always be true and stay humble. Like, always just stay humble. And that's where I think the best and most rewarding success ever comes, is because when you're humble, you get to see how other people have been impacted by you, and you don't get lost in the bigger thing of it, the bigger picture of it. For sure. Sorry, I just thought of that randomly.
I love it. And I think you speak so well to our team, because I think I've told you before, I think we're almost exclusively blues on this team as well. So I think sometimes relating to other coaches who have had success in a way that's different than some of the top coaches who, of course, have their own way of being successful. It's really cool, because I think most everybody in here really wants to help people in a very genuine way. And maybe the business, I don't want to speak for everybody, but maybe the business part is a little bit secondary to the real desire to just connect with people.
So I have to ask, Kathleen, have you had your team read The Go-Giver?
I have read it more than once, but yes, that's a good one.
So Kathleen actually recommended this book to me, and it's funny, but my whole philosophy on business was rooted on The Go-Giver well before I ever read the book. So if you have not, and it sings to the hearts of blue. And the one thing that I loved about the book, and is the hardest piece for blues to really get from the book, Kathleen, and you'll probably agree, is being receptive and open to receiving. Like, being open to the idea of receiving for the stuff that you do, for the things and the good that you do. Because although it feels so good to give all the time, you have to be open to receiving, because it opens doors to other opportunities, to being able to give freely, you know, like to be able to spend more time with your family, to be a better mom, and, you know, to focus on goals that are going to inspire and impact more people. But you can't do that until you're open to the idea of receiving. The personality colors is colorcodes.com, maybe colorcode.com, I think. If you haven't, I mean, I think some people think I'll just take the test again, you know, maybe I'll get another color. Blues usually do that. You're not, you're blue. You can't change your color. Sorry.
I did take it twice. Still blue.
Yeah, good try, Kathleen.
It's true. No, the Go-Giver, it's so good. I have it right here.
It's short, and they have it audio. You can actually, Kathleen, I'm almost positive you can listen to the whole audio on YouTube.
That's what I actually haven't read it. I've listened to it, I think 3 times. I mean, it's so good, and it's just quick. It's not a long one. It's thin, quick.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you again, Katy. We really, really appreciate it. Anybody have anything left that they wanted to say to Katy before she goes? No, I think you got a lot of thank yous in the chat there.
All right. Sounds good. Have a great night, guys.
Good night. Thanks, Katy. So she's awesome, right? You guys can unmute yourselves if you want to. Does anybody else want to say a takeaway? Oh, I'm echoing now. Is anybody else willing to share something they took away? I'm going to unmute you now.
Yeah, I'll share something. I loved like her first point, that bet on yourself, because that one, it makes me have to write down my goals. That sometimes I have these like fleeting like thoughts like, oh, this is something I really want to do, but then I'll just like kind of go on with my day and not really write it down and make it a true goal, you know? So that was actually when you were saying that number 2 hit you hard, number 1 hit me hard. That sometimes I have more confidence in other people that I don't put enough confidence and bet on myself enough, you know? So that one hit me pretty hard.
Awesome. Yeah, I think putting it in writing. I think you're definitely right about that. Putting it down and kind of being accountable and betting.
Yeah.
I think what I really liked was where she said, tell like a crumble of your story every day. But the problem is getting creative and trying to figure out ways to share your story without sounding like monotonous. I don't know. I have to put some thought into that.
And I actually have, I guess it's a part of a fear of mine or something. So there was a friend of mine who I went to high school with her, and I think she got involved with Beachbody, and she was posting a lot, and it wasn't getting a whole lot of feedback, but then she just stopped. So she's a type of person that gets like real involved in things, and if it doesn't work out within like a month, like she just jumps to other things, you know? So I think part of my hesitation is like, I don't want people to interpret what I'm doing as what she was doing, you know? So like, I have to get over that fear of like, I'm not her. I want to help people, and it's not me jumping. I love health and fitness. This has been something that, you know, I've loved for such a long time that I just need to get out there and just post the post and not put a second thought to it, you know?
You know, I came to the realization the other day that when you get into coaching, I guess because you're already following so many Beachbody coaches, well, some of us are, that I think a lot of us think that coaching is easy. Coaching, like, because we share that we're successful, right? We fake it till we make it. And everybody thinks that we're the successful person where, you know, I'm not near where I want to be yet. So I feel like other coaches coming into the business expect to hit success overnight. So I feel like it can be very discouraging, like the first few months of your business, when you're not seeing that same success that you see on the leaderboard every month. You know, people are hitting SC10 and above, and you're not even getting SC5, you know, and And it can be really discouraging as a new coach because you're like, well, what if I'm not any good at this? But the truth of the matter is that it's that compound effect. If you keep doing the daily, and I tell my team this all the time, and it's probably so annoying now, but if you do the daily tasks that you're supposed to do, the 3 vital behaviors, and you post 3 to 5 times a day, in time you will see success. And it's so true what Katy said. So important to focus on your goals for every single month, just to give you that focus.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think, Lindsay, speaking to what you were saying about the like wanting to be consistent and all that, and even you, Shannon, I think for as far as being creative, I think for me, and we were talking about this for our cup team, I think I want to like plan in advance some of my posts that I want to do based on like ideas for now, so that in a week when I'm bored with myself, I'll still have these posts that I can draw from. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the same with like reading a good personal development book will give inspiration posts long after the inspiration has come and gone for me personally. So anyway, that's what I was thinking of when you were saying that, Lindsay, because I know for me, like it just gets so, I don't know. I feel like I've told this story 50 million times. If people really care to hear it again, but they do, because you'll be hitting a new person or a new audience, or it'll strike somebody differently. Even like with what Katy was talking about tonight, if I heard her same thing a week from now, I might be totally motivated by number 5, and I wouldn't have even had heard that tonight. Tonight I heard number 2, and then my brain kind of stopped. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, but if we can plan ahead, I'm thinking, wait, hang on one second. I'm thinking if we can plan ahead, then we won't get caught up in thinking that people don't care anymore or something.
Yeah.
I love Katy's idea about opening just a separate Facebook group for yourself and just copying the URLs to the, like, gosh, never even thought. There's so many posts where I'm like, oh, I got to remember that. Oh, I got to remember that. I'm like, and I don't. And
well, Sunday I spent an hour on Pinterest, and I just went to one of my friends' pages that I know we have a lot of common interests, and I just spent an hour just pulling stuff off her thing, because I figured she's not posting them on Facebook, so it's not like but yeah, I pulled a bunch off Pinterest and I saved them, and that way, like you said, if one week you just don't have any inspiration, you can just go to that folder and pull something out of there.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Okay, wait, Anne doesn't want to unmute here. Let's see. Jason is I feel like I need to find a better story and tips and books you can recommend for that. I don't know, but I'll certainly find it. It sounded like Katy said something about Bo Eason. Does anybody know? I don't actually know Bo Eason's work. I think he was the Success Club, the call with him, but I didn't actually get to listen to it. Did anybody get to listen to that?
No.
So maybe we could look that up, Anne. Maybe that would be a good starting point for that.
I know for me, I really had to dig deep down and to see where I was most vulnerable. Because I feel like when you get to that point of your story, that people can relate to you more. Whether it's something from your past or something that you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, so we should probably wrap up here soon. But that's something that I've been giving a lot of thought to also, and I feel like our team as a whole could. I want to speak to future calls and get your opinions about that for everybody still here. I feel like I want to have everybody kind of practice their stories and share with each other. And I know it's awkward, and I know whatever, but I think if we can practice them kind of like Katy did, so maybe even having part of our team calls be 1 or 2 people practice sharing their story with a friendly audience, then maybe we can kind of, tweak it a bit, give each other a little feedback about that part really spoke to me, focus on that, or that part, whatever. Then maybe we can all kind of come to be a little bit more confident when we share our stories. And I want to also say that, so I know Katy pretty well now, and I've heard her story a bunch of times, and I never get sick of hearing it. And I feel like maybe we think that other people might not want to hear it again, but we do. We want to hear it again. Even when I'm in some groups with you guys and I know your stories, and you reintroduce yourself, I'm like, oh yeah, I love your story. Like, that's a great story. So anyway, so maybe we can do a little bit of practicing our stories. And then I'm also thinking that for future calls, my other idea based on your feedback from what happened in July. I feel like the other thing I really want to focus on in the future is how to bridge people between, I think that as a team of Blues, we're very good at getting people's stories. We have no problems forming relationships with people. I don't know, and maybe you guys can relate, but I feel like we all do very well with, I mean, I could probably tell you about some of the my potential customers' entire backstories of their divorces, traumas, child's names, pets, whatever, but bridging them from being, you know, this kind of my social work background therapy role to, okay, it's time to buy something now. I think that gap, if our team can fill that gap from the getting the ratio down from the number of people we talk to the number of people who actually buy something, I think that would set us apart. I mean, from where we are now. So I don't know if any of you have ideas about that. I have a couple calls out there to see if we can get some speakers, but I think what it's really going to come down to is practice between each other. And I'm talking about awkward role playing, practice between each other, practice talking through what you say to somebody, how you talk to somebody, and really it's about us building confidence in what we're doing. And but there are actual marketing techniques I'm learning that we should learn and practice, which is when you enter into a conversation, you have a goal in mind and so on. And I think these are things that maybe in general don't come naturally to Blues, because I think we just want to help everybody. But there is some technique to it, which is my idea for future calls and maybe small group practice sessions or something like that. So anyway, I don't know if any of you have any thoughts about that, but that's what I'm thinking.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
both
was
great
gonna say-
ideas.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say something real quick because I know Anne had spoken up about her story. And I know when I first started, my thought was, like, I don't have a big story. I don't have a big transformation story. I didn't think, like, when you hear Katy Ursta's story, it's like, yes, like, she has a story. I mean, it's a big story. She had cancer. She overcame cancer. She kicked butt. She is, like, helping other people who have cancer. And when I think of her story, I'm like, like, my story is nothing. But what I was going to say, and Kathleen, you had talked about, like, practicing your story and kind of sharing. Our team started a sneak peek, which we tried to, like, revamp some things, and we started a sneak peek this week. And so we sort of encouraged everybody to maybe just tell their story, like make a video and tell their story. So because I was telling everybody else to do that, I was like, well, I never really filmed myself telling my story. And really my story is not anything like spectacular. But so I'm sitting in my living room, like nobody was at home, and I start just sharing my story to my computer screen. And at the end, my why, it all kind of goes together, and sometimes your why changes. And at the end, I was like breaking down and like sobbing. I was like, oh my gosh, I guess that's my story. I guess that's my why. But I had never done that before. You know, I've told people, I've like typed it, you know, whatever I've shared in roundabout ways, but I don't know, I would recommend maybe doing that. You know, you can kind of see yourself and hear yourself. And then maybe you'll be a little bit more brave to share it with somebody else or whatever. I don't know. So tonight I had to post it and I actually debated changing it because I had the, you know, ugly cry face and I looked horrible, you know, but I was like, I should probably keep it because it kind of show, you know, it came out, it was there. And so I did. So people saw it tonight, but I don't know, just a suggestion you might want to try. And don't compare your story to like Katy Ursta's or Melanie Mitro's or Kathleen Petula's, because, you know, we all have a different story, and as small as they are, there are people out there who want to hear it and who can relate. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's a great idea. And I'm glad you kept your video as is, because it was great, and it's so full of heart, and it's authentic, which is exactly what Katy was talking about. Okay, so let's wrap up for tonight. So we have a call next Tuesday. Terry and my husband are actually going to talk on the call about the husband's perspective of Beachbody and coaching and all that. So feel free to bring along your spouse, partner, whatever.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said, I'm not talking, my husband is.
That's right. Yes, sorry, did I not say that right? But anyway, how about if we get, how about maybe 2 volunteers? Anybody want to actually volunteer tonight to share their story in time next week for the call? We'll have a nice, easy audience. It'll just be us. But it would be a great time to practice with the friendly faces. Anybody want to volunteer and be brave?
I'll do it.
Yes. I love it. Jeannie will be one. Okay. Anybody else willing to be brave and share their story?
He's putting me on the spot.
I know. No volunteers. Okay. I will randomly pick somebody with my cursor. No, I'm just kidding. Think about it and
Could have volunteered.
think about it. And it would just be really great. And I think it could be really helpful to anybody who's willing to start thinking about it.
I had a hard time telling my story in the beginning too, and the more you tell it, the easier it gets. And I feel like this platform with such just us coaches, I think it would be a really good idea for you guys to take this opportunity to use us to share your story. And don't be nervous. It's just us. We're not going to sit here and judge you. We're all here to help one another. So,
Awesome.
Jen, I saw that.
All right, so we got Jen and Jeannie who are going to share.
I froze, so I couldn't talk, so I had to put it in chat.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So we'll plan on that for next time. And thanks everybody for getting on tonight. I'm really glad that you did. I'm really glad that you were able to hear Katy live because she's amazing, and I really respect what she's doing and how she's running her business. So thank you. Talk to you guys later.